We left the game in this position with black to move. So I just played king e2, and my idea is that if black takes on c2, I play b6, and now if knight takes a1, then b7, and I get a queen and win the game. So black needs to find a solution. These two pawns are very fast. If knight e5, trying to stop b6, then I simply play c4, and I have three very strong pawns. So it's not easy to find a move for black. Here my opponent thought for 45 minutes and missed the winning move. The winning move was knight takes c2. So b6, it's the only try, and now I thought about knight e4 and knight c6, but I thought that black might be able to hold this position, but maybe difficult. But there is an even stronger move, which is knight f4 check. Now both me and my opponent saw this, and after king d1, which is forced, if the knight takes, then I play b7 and e2. Now king d2, I cannot play the king to e1 because knight c2 is check and the pawn queens with check. So king d2 is forced, and after knight b3 I play king e1. Now both me and my opponent finished our calculation here because apparently black cannot stop the pawns. But if we looked a bit deeper, maybe he would have found, because he thought for a long time, maybe he could have found knight g2. Maybe you didn't find it because it just gives the pawn, and it's not a logical move, but after king d2, which is forced, otherwise the pawn queens with check, then knight e4, bishop e7 first, you need to give the bishop, and now knight e4 check, and knight c6, and the knight is in time to stop the pawn, and okay, I win the knight, but this ending is an easy win for black. So this was the solution. In this position, before, okay, basically after b7, bishop takes b7 can be played now or in the next 3 or 4 moves. In this example, I'm playing bishop b7 here, which is the last moment where you can play it. And you can see that black, okay, is winning this position. But my opponent didn't find the solution and played knight f4. Now, when he played this move, he had like 3 or 4 seconds on the clock. So we were playing 30 seconds increment. And after king d3, now it's not possible to play knight takes c2 because, again, these two pawns are very fast. But his idea was to play knight d5 and try to stop pawns. Now, not only is he getting a bit passive with his pieces, but he got into severe time pressure, and that helped me during the game. So knight b6 now, king c3. I'm slowly moving the king forward, and now moving the pawns with c4. And now I cannot play c5 because knight takes b5 simply wins the pawn. But I played king c5. And now black needs to be careful, because if you play knight d7 check, then king d6 wins a piece. But okay, even in time pressure, my opponent found the best move, the only move, knight c8. And now I play a good move, which is king b4. Now I cannot play b6, of course, because knight d6 check draws the game. The white king must keep contact with this b6 pawn, So after I play king b5, then knight d4, and the game is going to end in a repetition of moves. So b6 is not possible. Rook e1 was suggested, but okay, I'm cutting the king in this e-file, but the problem is that my rook, I really want my rook on a1 or maybe b1 because I need to support my pawns. My pawns need to get going and the rook should be behind the passed pawns. So I played king b4, which is a very good move. And after king e7, c5, my opponent still found a very tricky move, which is knight a7. It looks like white is just playing b6 and b7 and black can do nothing, but he found his knight a7 move. Now he's threatening to take on b5, so I need to play b6. And now his idea is knight c6 check, king c4, and now he played knight takes e6, giving a piece for the pawn. He could have tried knight e5, but white is still winning in this position. After king c3, knight d5 check, only move, king d4, and now after knight f3, black can try to repeat, but I have this very strong king e4 move. And you can see that it might look risky to put in this diagonal, but I'm always threatening b7. So if he tries to stop it with knight takes b6, I simply win the e5 knight, and this is a very good position for white to play. So knight e5 was a possibility to try and trick white, but he played knight e6. So probably his idea is just to advance these pawns, maybe, oops, not like this, like this, and maybe even sacrifice a pawn, but liquidate all the pawns on the king side and maintain this blockade on the queen side. But now he blundered. He played g5. He was in severe time pressure and probably missed my next move, which is rook h3, simply winning the h7 pawn. Okay, now black wishes this pawn to be back on g7, so we could play h6, and everything is defended. After this, he still tried to fight with bishop a6. Now the idea is that black's king is coming to take the c5 pawn, but I took on h7, and after b7, white must give a piece back because rook c7 threatens to queen, since the knight is into the king, and if king b6, then rook takes c6 wins for white. So we played bishop takes b7, rook takes b7, knight e5, and I played rook b7 attacking the pawn, and now maybe, okay, that, again, it wasn't time pressure, it's difficult to analyze these positions. Maybe g4 would have drawn the game, because now my king cannot come to d3, and so it's not so active, and black's king might come here, and black might be able to hold this position. It's not comfortable, white can always try to push for the win, but it might be a drawn ending. He played knight f3, and now I played good move, a very tricky move, king d3. So the idea is that if black takes on h2, I take the pawn with check, and after king d6 I play king e2, and you can see that all the knight's flight squares are covered, and rook g2 is going to win the knight. So after king d3, he needs to prevent king e3 attacking the knight and the g5 pawn, so he played g4, which is also a tricky move. Of course, rook takes g4 is a blunder because of knight e5 check, so I played rook h7, because now I need to defend against this threat of knight takes h2. But simply after king d5, I have this rook h5 resource, and black can actually resign in this position because I'm just taking g4 pawn. So here I thought for a while, because I wasn't seeing that king takes g4 actually defends the rook. I was thinking about rook h8 and trying to maybe trap the knight, which is impossible in this position. But then I realized that king takes g4 is actually winning. And my opponent in this position played knight e4 and actually resigned without waiting for my reply. So very nice win. My opponent could have won if he had calculated a bit more, but he didn't, and it was a very nice win for me. I had a good tournament, won some rating points, and well, it was a very good day. Thank you for watching, and well, you are welcome to see my next videos.